Hello Fude friends. This video will be a review of the Rephr holiday collection set. Normally I make an outline of what I want to talk about in a video. I didn't have time to do that for this one because I wanted to get it up as quickly as possible and in a timely manner for the Black Friday Rephr promotion. So if I missed anything or there are any other details you would like to know, please leave it in the comments below and I will make sure to reply in a timely manner. So I'll start off this video by saying that I did purchase these brushes myself, and I did so because I was most interested in the large powder brush. I have and used the Koyudo T1 extensively. It's a brush I reach for all of the time and wanted to both see how it would compare to the quality of the Koyudo brush and also add another one like it to my collection to divide the wear and tear on that brush with another one. And so I received my order. It actually came with this acrylic case, which is nice to hold brushes. I will not use it for travel because the brushes could move inside of it this way and it could harm the bristles, but I think it's really nice for storing brushes upright. And it was just a nice touch to see a sturdy case added with the set. But the focus of the review will be on these brushes, which I have played with, washed, and dried. As a disclaimer, I wash my brushes and then shape them so they dry in a compact manner. And then when I'm not using them, I actually store them in little plastic sleeves or brush guards. So a lot of my brushes are more compact, and these are in this example, but all of the brushes I'll show today have been cared for in the same way to hopefully keep the comparison apples to apples. Again, if you have any questions, comment below, but let's get into it. So let's start with the pencil brush. This is the number 23 brush, and if you don't reach for pencil brushes, you may not value this one in the set. I, however, really like a sharp pointed pencil brush, especially smaller ones. That is because I like to use dark eyeshadow to line my upper and lower lash line. I like liquid eyeliner, gel liner, but lately I have been using just a dark eyeshadow to smudge and darken the lash line. And this one is perfect for that because it is very, very small and comes to a pretty sharp point. For comparison, I have the Rephr 03. And you will see that it is actually noticeably smaller than the 03, which is a more standard size pencil brush. I would say it's even a third as small as the 03. I also have a small Koyudo pencil brush. This is the Yoshiki series brush in the smallest size. I purchased this one off of Beautylish, and this one is closer in size to the 03. So the 23 is on the left, the 03 is in the middle, and the Koyudo one is on the right. And you can see that the 23 is smaller. And then lastly, I have here the Sonia G Pencil 1, just for size comparison purposes, since I know a lot of you use Sonia G brushes. So to conclude on 23, I think it's great if you like to use eyeshadow close to your lash line or inner corner. It works fine for that. And the last thing I will note is that it's actually really soft. I think it's as soft as even the Sonia G one, and it is actually softer than my Koyudo one. So no complaints in terms of softness with this one. Next, let's talk about the 24. The 24 I already owned. I purchased this one from the concept store, and it is in the prototype handle. So I already had this one, have used it. I have a post on Instagram that has a close-up of this to the Tom Ford. I purchased this one because I wanted to see how it compared to the Tom Ford, I think it's the 06 brush. And my findings were that it's very similar, very comparable if you wanted the Tom 4 and didn't get it because it is now discontinued. This is a great alternative. So I already had the 24, and it is a brush I enjoy the shape of. It is very densely packed, so I haven't used this 24. I'll put this one aside and use this one for comparison purposes. It's a flat paddle shape, but it is a wide and thick, and so it flares out from the ferrule and then is domed and rounded at the top. So we have an oval ferrule that's quite wide but not round, and it is very, very densely packed. And I find it to be unique. I don't have very many brushes similar to it. There's the Koyudo J210, but that one's a completely round ferrule, and then any other oval ones I have tend to be more pinched for cheek brushes. You can compare it to the very dense brushes that we see more for foundation function. So here I have the Fude 02. The Fude is more densely packed, and the bristles are also shorter, that it has a lot less flexibility compared to the cheek brush. Let's see, very densely packed, more flexibility, but similar ferrule size and shape, except the bristles are shorter. And then same story with the Koyudo foundation brush. Here is the Rephr 05, which is their classic cheek brush, and this one is a classic paddle shape that is not as densely packed, and the bristles are longer. Very different brushes and different uses too. The 24, because it is so densely packed, I find works well with cream products and also with really buffing in, if that is what you're seeking to do with this almost flat domed top. You can really buff in product. And then let's compare it to the Tom Ford 06. As you can see, this is how I store them. This one has a little plastic sleeve, which is how I usually store my brushes. And the bristle length is nearly identical. I would say the same. The ferrule is the same size width. These brushes are very, very comparable, and I think good alternatives if you have one and wanted another or didn't get one. The Rephr is, I think, a good option. And in terms of softness, the Tom Ford is a little bit softer, but not by much. And so again, I'm very impressed with this Rephr 24 brush, and it is a brush I use a lot and enjoy. And so lastly, we get to the powder brush, which was the main reason I bought it. I wanted to compare it to the Koyudo T1, which also has a sleeve. And what was surprising to me about the Rephr is that I did not expect it to be this similar to the T1. I bought it because I wanted to see how similar they were, and now that I have both, they are almost indistinguishable. Based on my experiences, if you have these brushes, please let me know below how they compare for you. But the handles are very similar, so they have these matte black handles, similar weight and length. The Koyudo handle tapers more towards the bottom, so I find it a little easier to hold versus the Rephr one, which is a more uniform width from top to bottom on the handle. So this is a 25, and it is the latest version of the 6/11. As far as I can tell, this one was designed to be a little more dense than the prior iterations of it, the 6 or 11. I don't have those brushes to compare them for you, but from what I saw the company note in their marketing, this one is a little more dense. Compared to the Koyudo, I find it to also be a tad bit more dense, but ever so slightly. I had to really sit down and run my fingers through them and see how the bristles move. And in the end, I decided it was a little bit more dense than the Koyudo. And in terms of softness, I think they're nearly indistinguishable. If I had to pick one, I would pick the T1 as being ever so slightly softer. So yeah, this is an oval ferrule, densely packed, long undyed goat bristles. I use this brush for both setting foundation with an all-over face powder, and also last step finishing and buffing and going over any harsh lines on your face that you want to improve. And this T1 I've had on rotation for a really long time. It's just an easy go-to, no fuss brush that I'm happy to now have a second version that's basically identical in how I use it to this one to distribute the wear and tear on this one some. You don't need both unless you see yourself really reaching for a powder brush, maybe in between washes. If you just want to have two, go for it, but you certainly don't need both. My overall thoughts on the set are that I was very pleased and the set met my expectations. I already knew I liked the 24 brush, but I did also want to see how it would compare to the prototype versus the latest version, and I think they are the same softness, same bristle design, no surprises there. And I was pleasantly surprised by the pencil brush because I didn't realize how small it was. That's actually the 03. Here is the 23. It's even smaller than I had expected, which suits my preferences and my eye shape. And lastly, the powder brush, no complaints there. I think it's a good alternative to the T1. So I would recommend the set if you're looking for everyday, no fuss type brushes, especially if you can get it during their holiday promotion. If I missed anything or I can answer any further questions, please comment below. I'll get back to you in a timely manner. As always, thank you for watching, and remember to please say no to bluefin tuna.